Hello folks, Popatop 912 coming at y'all today with another one of our famous recipes. Now I know it's been a minute, y'all, since we made a recipe. You know, things happen. Now we're trying to just get back to us. So we're going to start off. I don't even know what the day is. May the 7th, yeah. May the 7th, 2021. We're back in action. We're going to start putting some more recipes out on the channel. We've been doing our travel vlogs and stuff like that, but we're going to start cooking again, start putting these recipes back out for y'all too. All right, so the recipe we're going to be cooking today is just a jazzed up shrimp and grits recipe. I call it jazzed up because we're going to flavor the grits with a lobster stock. You know, a lot of people, when they do their grits, they will use like a chicken stock or something like that. But by using the lobster stock, that's going to just enhance the seafood flavor of the whole dish. And then to top that off, we're going to put some jumbo lump crab meat in there just to add another depth of flavor to the overall dish. So I'm going to flip the camera around now, and I am going to show y'all all the ingredients for today. So we are over to the ingredients now. We're going to start with the fresh ingredients. So what we got here is we have one large shallot, and we got one, I'm gonna call that a head of garlic. I don't really know what a whole thing of garlic is, but it's a whole one. Then we got some green onions, and then we have some parsley. Then go over here to the protein. We got some applewood smoked bacon. You can use, I'm sorry, that is cherrywood smoked bacon. I'm sorry, folks. That's the Smithfield cherrywood smoked bacon. That's a really good flavor. I don't know which one I like better, the cherrywood or the applewood. They're both delicious. And then right here, you know I gotta have my Argentinian pink shrimp. These are the super jumbo 8 to 12 count. Because when you're gonna have shrimp and grits, you want to have shrimp and grits, not grits and shrimp. Now, here's the trick, folks. I know I've been saying grits, but that right there is the secret ingredient. That is my best friend. That is called Kamut. It's an African grain. Now it says hot cereal. But I guess grits is a hot cereal, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that's the ground version right there. It's already ground up. But if you can't find that, you can always get this one right here. This is the whole one. You see it look like rice, like brown rice almost. But that's the whole grain kamut right there. And you can take that kamut and put it in a spice grinder. And you can grind it up and you can get it fine like this. And you can use it for grits. It's a perfect substitute for grits. And it's much better on your system. Now, I told you we were going to be using lobster stock, and that right there, that's my better than bouillon lobster stock. Y'all know I love that better than bouillon. They need to sponsor me, but they don't. And then under there, we got some jumbo lump crab meat. We got the Kerrygold butter that we're going to be cooking this stuff off in. And another little twist, y'all, some sun-dried tomatoes. That's going to add just a little acidity to the finished dish. And behind there, we got some sharp cheddar cheese. And then another very important part of these grits is the smoked Gouda. You can't have shrimp and grits until you get that smoked Gouda. I'm telling you, if you ain't never tried it, that Yancey Fancy, it's the best smoked Gouda on the market. Then we got some heavy whipping cream that we're going to use to make our grits nice and smooth. And then on the seasonings, you know, not many seasonings. We just got some sea salt. Then we got some fresh pepper right there we're going to grind up. And then we got some red pepper flakes, some smoked paprika, and then some Old Bay seasoning. So that was all the ingredients. We showed you all the ingredients laid out on the table. We're going to start to cooking. But if you noticed on the stove, I only had one skillet up there. That's because we're going to do most of the cooking in the microwave. The microwave is a very good appliance. And it can really speed up your cooking in the kitchen if you know how to use it properly. I can take that bacon. I'm going to take 4 pieces of that bacon. I'm going to lay it on a glass plate, put it in the microwave for 4 to 5 minutes. And it's going to come out nice and crispy. All that fat's going to render out of it. And I'm going to take that fat and I'm going to put it in my skillet. And I'm going to use that fat to saute my vegetables. So the vegetables, I'm going to do a medium chop on those. And I'm going to use my ulu knife, which is right here. If you don't know what an ulu knife is, it's something they use in Alaska. I haven't been to Alaska yet, but I saw this on YouTube, and I was like, man, I got to get one of those. So I just ordered it. But you can see this cutting board has a divot in it, and you put all your whatever you want to chop in there, and this here blade has an arc on it. So you just put it in there and you rock. You just rock back and forth, and you can mince or dice or whatever you want right on there. And this is a smaller one, so it's meant for small portions. You know, it's just the two of us, so we don't have to have a lot of stuff. But that's perfect. What?
For any of Australian fans, Alaskan fans watching, please tell him what it is, or what it's used for.
It's for chopping.
Well, you asked what it was for.
No, I didn't. I said if they don't know what it's for. Anyway, pardon our interruption, people. Y'all can see we kind of out of practice. It's been a while since we made one of these videos. I'm not going to even tell you how many times we've already cut and started over. But we're just going to keep it going. So like I was saying, I'm going to take the shallot, the garlic, and the green onions. I'm going to cut those up with the ulu knife in a medium cut. You know, not rustic, but not too fine. And then I'm going to take that parsley. I'm just going to take a couple, you know, just a little bit of that parsley. I'm going to mince that up because that's going to be used for garnish and flavor on top of the dish. It's not going to get cooked. We're just going to use the fresh flavor from that to just add another layer to the finished dish. So we went over the bacon. We're going to render the bacon down in the microwave. And then we're going to saute the vegetables in the bacon grease. And once the vegetables they're only going to be in there for about a minute or two. I'm going to then put those shrimp in there, season them up. I'm just going to season the shrimp with all those seasonings I showed you, but very little. I'm just going to use very light on the seasonings because I don't want to overpower the dish. And you can easily overpower your dish by putting too much seasoning in there. I am in the mode of enjoying the natural flavors of the food and just letting the seasonings enhance instead of seasonings being the primary flavor of the dish. So I'm going to go very sparingly on those. Once I put the shrimp into the pan, I'll go sparingly with that and just put those seasonings in there at that point and just go ahead and cook those off. Once I get those cooked off, I'm going to take maybe 2 tablespoons that Kerrygold butter, and I'm going to put that in the pan and I'm going to let that melt down. And while that's melting down, I'm going to take some of that jumbo lump crab and just put them in the pan. And then I'm going to just mix all that together and just ladle that melted butter and bacon grease right on top of there with the seasonings from the shrimp. All that stuff is going to mingle together and those flavors are going to mesh. And that's going to be that whole dish right there. So the last thing is going to be the kamut. Kamut is just like cooking grits pretty much, y'all. I find it to be a little more thirsty. So I'm going to start off with like 1 cup of kamut and 3 cups of water with maybe a teaspoon of that lobster stock. Because again, I just want that lobster stock to knock the freshness off of the kamut, not to season it. I just want to have just a little taste of it. It's kind of like, you know, a lot of people will use chicken stock to cook their grits when they're making shrimp and grits, but I'm just going to use lobster stock because it's going to give me more of a seafood flavor, which is what I'm going for. But again, like 1 teaspoon of it, and maybe I'll probably start off with a ½ teaspoon because again, I don't want too much in there to overpower the dish. Enough of that. So I'm going to take that, 3 cups of that with 1 cup of the kamut and then 1 tablespoon of the Kerrygold butter. Put that in the microwave. I'm going to let that go for about 8 minutes and then I'm going to stir it. And then I'm going to put it back in for like another 8 minutes. But at the 5-minute mark, normally around 13, 14 minutes is when it really starts to kind of thicken up, get creamy and start getting smooth. But just keep an eye on it. And if you need to add some more liquid, add some more liquid. And just cook the grits to your consistency. I'm going to have these relatively thick, but the thickness is going to come from the cheese and the whipping cream too. So with just the liquid, they will be a little bit loose. So that once I put the cheese and the cream, whipping cream in there, that'll tighten it up and it'll make it where the grits can stand up and you can eat them with a fork. So that's the consistency of the grits we're going to have. It's like a fork. You can eat it with a fork. But that's mostly going to be because of the cheese, which is going to make it stick together. So after about 13 minutes, stir. And once you see it, you'll know. I mean, it's just like cooking grits, but I'm just explaining this to you because we're doing it in the microwave. You'll see it start to come together, get creamy and smooth. At that point, I'm going to put in some of the whipping cream, maybe like a half a cup of the whipping cream. And then I'm just going to put in some of that smoked Gouda. I'm going to just freshly shred that. And I don't really know how much of that I'm going to use. That's just a feel. And again, just how much cheese you want in your stuff. Just go with that. And I'll put that cheese and that cream in there. And I'll put it back in the microwave for those last 2 or 3 minutes. And if it's not creamy enough, you can go for another 3 or 4 minutes. But I've never had Kamut go more than about 16 minutes. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. And so that's going to get it nice and creamy. And it's going to be well blended. And also you'll see like that butter that you put in there, it's going to start like collecting on the edge of the bowl. That's when you know they're done. So you just stir it back up to kind of get that butter back incorporated, because it wants to try to separate a little bit. That's how I know when they're really getting done, when that butter wants to separate out. That's when I know. I mix it up, then I'll put the whipping cream and the cheese in there, and I'll just put it back in the microwave just long enough to let the cheese melt, because it's already going to be hot and not putting a lot of cream to cool it down. So melt that cheese good, and then we'll take it out and we'll start plating. And the only thing left was that shredded cheddar cheese. I'm just going to use that to just ladle across the top. It's just another, the smoked Gouda has one flavor, the sharp cheddar has another flavor. So I'm just going to put that right on top to have another layer of flavors. So all that being said, we're going to start prepping this food and putting this dish together. I tell y'all, when we have shrimp, we have shrimp. That's what I call money. It's the money ball. That's the bacon renderings. All right, guys, so just wanted to come here and just give you a quick little update. Most of the prep is done, and the Kamut has been in the microwave for about 12 minutes now. So it's time to go ahead and get the skillet moving. You can see I rendered down the bacon. I know I said 4 pieces earlier, but I went ahead and did about 7 because I wanted to just get a little bit of extra grease out of it, and we're still only going to use about 4 of them in the dish. And the other ones, who doesn't like bacon bits for a salad tomorrow, right? So you can see the rustic chop that I was, not the medium chop that I was going for on the garlic and the shallot and the green onions. And then I chopped up some of those sun-dried tomatoes. And then over here, that's another little bit of sun-dried tomatoes to go on top along with the parsley. And then I got my shrimp here. And then we got the cheese. I will show you guys what the Kamut looks like when we take it out the microwave next. We got about 4 minutes on it right now. This one here actually is going to take about 20 minutes because my compadre put too much water in them. So we got to just let that water cook out. All that's going to do is make things smoother and creamier. But so we put a little more water, so it's going to go a little bit longer. That's just part of the game. So that's the prep. Now we're finna go ahead and get the skillet moving. So we'll show y'all what's going on there. All right, y'all. So I got my skillet going here now. That's just the bacon grease with the onions. I'm sorry, and the shallots and the garlic and a little bit of that sun-dried tomato. Just getting that. Gonna get that translucent, and then we're gonna put those shrimp in here. We don't want this to cook too much. But it's a fine line. So as soon as they start to turn a little more clear than what they are, I'm going to go ahead and put the shrimp in. And I got my heat on about 75%. This isn't a large burner. This is the number 3 burner, so it's about 75%. But you can see everything starting to turn translucent in the pan. And one thing you really want to look at when you got that fresh garlic will burn. So that's why I don't have it up too high. So now that's going. My compadre is going to come over here and show me what's Kamut looking like now. Alright, so I'm going to back this up for a second, y'all. So here's the Kamut. Remember when I told you can kind of see that butter just sitting on the top of it? That's how you know when it's getting ready. I mean, it's still, and this is just a half a cup, y'all. That thing swole up big time. But it didn't help that she put extra water in there either. But there we go right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and put some of the cheese in here and a half a cup of whipping cream and put this back in the microwave and just let it go for probably like another 3 minutes. And while that's happening, we're going to get back up here and we're going to keep this saute here going. That's ready now. That is ready. All right, compadre. Get the cheese, put the cheese and the milk in there. Put the cheese and the cream in there. Boom. 1. Come on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stir it up in there, put it back in the microwave for like 3 minutes. You're going to have to really be watching it now, okay? Just use the same cup you got the water in.
Half a cup, right?
Yep. Red pepper flakes, y'all. Smoked paprika, dash of salt, a little bit of Old Bay, and some fresh cracked pepper. Now I did turn my fire down because I didn't want this to cook too fast. Alright, now as I'm back over here paying attention to it, I'll turn my fire back up. Flip them boys over. Like I said, don't take long at all. Look at my 2 tablespoons of butter. It's probably 2.5, but you know, whatever. Getting that in there now.
Yeah, I may not be in shot, but I can tell you right now, it smells good.
Alright, so now I'm gonna turn that down, y'all. Because we don't want no shrimp to overcook and we don't want no vegetables to burn, but you can kind of see that butter sauce I told you we was trying to go for. That Kerrygold done melted down in there. Last thing we're gonna do, it's gonna take a few lumps of this jumbo lump crab meat.
Looks a bit liquidy. Is that supposed to be right?
Put that in there. Just gonna let this kind of mix together. Don't want to break that crab up too much. So I ain't gonna be stirring it too much more.
Add any more time or just let it cook the rest of the way through?
Let it cook.
It's only a minute and 40 seconds.
Just let it cook. So at this point now, we're just gonna heat that crab meat up, and the kamut should be ready. It's got about another minute in the microwave over there. Thus says my compadre.
Which is right here. It smells so good. Mm.
Go check the kamut. Alright, so I'm going to just take that and just ladle this on top to get those flavors into that crab meat. The shrimp is done. This bad boy is ready to rock and roll, people. Yes, stir it. Let me see. Alright, y'all, we're going to let this here simmer. I'm going to go check on this kamut over here. Alright, y'all, so here's the ending of that kamut. You can see it's, like I said, I want it to be fork thick. Once that cools off just a little bit, that's fresh out the microwave. It's super hot. I'm going to stir it up real quick, but that's thick. It's got that smoke flavor from that Gouda. Man, what you talking about? So, that's that. We got our little plate here. Got the bacon bits, the sun-dried tomatoes, and the parsley. You come up to the stove there. Everything is still there. It was marinating, waiting on us. And the only thing left is to go ahead and plate this up. And then we'll sprinkle a little bit of that sharp cheddar cheese on there. And we're going to have this party going. So, go ahead and spoon these grits up in here.
Y'all, I know this looks more yellow on camera. It's not that yellow.
So got those in there. Grab this pan. Shrimp, crab, some veggies. It's going to be 3 shrimp, and 3 lumps of crab with those veggies.
Can I sprinkle on this stuff?
That's my job. Trying to take my job.
How is that your
job? A little more of those veggies in there.
I want to do it.
Alright. Now, keep it on the plate. Let's just go drop some of that fresh bacon in here. You can do yours. Bacon in there. A little sun-dried tomato.
You can take all that because I don't eat the sun-dried tomato.
And then a little bit of parsley. And just a little bit of cheddar cheese, y'all. Boom. Bam, as Emerald would say. Bam!
As who would say?
Emerald. You don't know who Emerald is?
Nope.
Emerald Lagasse. And the last thing, like I told you, I want to have a little bit of that butter sauce. We're just going to take that butter sauce and just drizzle it on there so it settles on the edges. And that, my friends, is a bowl of perfection. Like I said, you know, we've been slacking on our videos, but I think this one here, I think this is one to come back. I think if we come back with you, I think this will put us back on our game. So this is shrimp and grits, but actually it's kamut. It's the kamut. I'll just call it shrimp and grits, but it's a little dressed up with the crab meat and all those other garnishes on there. But I'm telling you, people, give us a try. I know it's been a while since we did a video, but every time I put one out, I try to make it fire. Again, we're going to apologize for all of the edits that we had to do because we're a little bit rusty in the kitchen. And just want to do a special shout out. This video is for Don Moore. He's been poking me to get back in the kitchen and get back on my game and start doing what I used to do. And this one's for you, Don. I got more for you, brother. It's Popatop 912 and
Not T101.
And we are signing out, people.
Bye.
Peace.